Bit of a different one today. We're going to be installing some items from ProBolt. I'm going to be installing this black clutch adjuster. I think I'm going to go for the black dust caps and also aluminium fuel cap kit, so the bolts can be black. So I'm doing this bit of a quick modification, but just to make the bike look a bit cleaner, a bit tidier, and it'll look better than all the silver items on the bike. So I'm going to cut into it, and then we can look at what we've got. So as you can see, I went for the black finish on the clutch adjuster with the etched logo. I think this is going to look a lot better than what we've got on the bike currently. And ProBolt do send a sticker with every order pretty much. I've already took them out the packaging, so I can't show you that. Same again for this one, sticker. I'll keep that one to one side. Do send what I believe is anti-seize compound. Yeah, anti-seize compound. So that's important to use. Then here are the bolts we're going to need. You will notice they are different sizes. I believe 3 will be the longer sizes and 3 will be the short sizes. Yeah. Does bring an Allen key. I'll probably use my own, but worth noting it does come with one. So the first step is going to be removing the bolts. I'm going to remove one at a time and then refit the new bolt one at a time, and we'll do this with a 4mm Allen key. So I'm going to begin with this one. This is a short one, so what we need to do, you'll notice these are pretty loose. So there's one out. All we need to do, cut a tiny little hole into the anti-seize compound. Just apply a little blob like that. That's perfectly fine. It'll work its way through the threads as we thread it into the fuel cap. All I'm going to do is I'm going to place this over there just so we don't scratch the new bolt, and then I'm just going to reattach it like so. And then we're just going to nip it. The short ones don't matter about being as tight because they're not actually securing the fuel cap on. Now I'm going to remove the other 3 short ones. I believe these are the ones. Now that I've applied the anti-seize to the bolts, just going to go through again. Oh, I've just accidentally hit that one. And then refit it to the bike. Just move this one out of the way a smidge. I've got that one started, so I'm going to just start this one, just so I don't drop it. Then all we do, wind it in, careful not to get the latex glove. And then just like so, that's the 3 short ones done. Now we can move on to the 3 longer ones. What I will say for the longer ones is these are what are actually holding the fuel cap on. So I do highly recommend doing one at a time for these. So all I'm going to do is take that back to the bench, apply the anti-seize compound, come back and refit that one, and then move on to the other 2 individually. And again, just snug these down I will check for a torque spec in a little while. So they're now all on. I'm just going to check the torque spec, or if there is one for these 3 bolts. So the torque setting for these is roughly 5 to 6 Newton meters. I've gone for 6 Newton meters. I'm just gently tightening them in a star pattern. Like so. Now it's important to remember these are really aluminium bolts, so we can't over tighten them or we'll strip the threads. It's important to make sure they are fully engaged. You can avoid torquing the shorter ones and just make sure you torque the 3 longer ones, but I don't want these to vibrate loose, so I've decided to torque all of them. So the next bit we're going to be installing is the clutch adjuster. Now I'm going to take some calipers like these to take a couple of measurement points to make sure once I've removed the old one I can set this one back to where it is now. You don't have to do this, you could just replace it and then make sure that when you fit the new one you adjust the clutch to your liking, but to make sure everything stays the same I am going to take a couple of measurement points. So this is one of the points I'm just going to measure here, and that's how much thread is showing. We've got about 7mm there, so I know when I refit the new one that gap needs to be 7mm. Another point I'm going to measure is from here to here, just to see how much cable is showing. You don't have to do this bit, but this will be a better measurement because it'll show exactly at which point the little lever arm here is. So if the adjuster that we fit up there is ever so slightly different to the factory adjuster, even if we get 7mm up there, this might be slightly off. So we'll take this measurement as well, but it's not the end of the world. Like we say, we can always adjust it after riding a little bit and making sure it's in the right spot. Just go back and zero that. So that's around 35mm. So the way we're going to try to get this off is if we can move that out of the way. The reason why we want to just move this little spring out of the way is to try not damage the paint on it. Try to keep everything to the best finish, and then if we wind it all the way in and then get that little groove lined up, so there is a groove just here, I'll show you in a second. If we get that lined up, we should be able to pull the cable out just enough like so, and then at this point we can wind it all the way out. Hopefully you can see that. So you can see it's quite a long thread, but it is out, and you'll be left with this. Make sure the cable stays under the lever there and engaged. As we can see here, they do look identical, threads are the same length, same pitch, everything's correct. So all we need to do now is install this one, set it up, and that's done. So now all we need to do is again try and move that spring out of the way just so we don't start scratching the finishing, and then we will wind it all the way in. Now you could remove that, but mine's behind the upright here, so I've just decided to just hold it out of the way. And then remember, obviously we're going to have to wind it all the way in, reattach the cable before we can adjust it correctly. So I'm going to have to wind it out just a smidge, just to line that up. So as you can see, there's a slit just there for the cable, and there's a slit in the adjuster, so you just need to line them two up, and then we can pull the cable out through, then adjust it. So I'm now just going to reattach the cable to there. It is going to be quite tight. You can see I can get it to about there quite easy, but then you need to grab it like so, pull it quite strongly, and then that's it. Once it's in, we can adjust it correctly to the spec that we measured earlier, and then that adjuster will be all fitted in. So we're just going to adjust it now. So made a little adjustment. I'm going to get the calipers, measure it, and then see if it's correct. So now with this adjusted like so, we can take a measurement, and we can see we're about a mil or 1.5 mil too far, so we're just going to wind it back off. So the pitch thread on this should be around 1 to 1.5, so if one turn should give us the 1.5 mil we need. So if we do that and measure again, hopefully we'll be a little bit closer. As we can see there, we are at 6.7, so what I'm going to do, we're pretty close. I'm going to measure the spec we're at on the other side and see how that's looking. So if we measure back here, as you can see, we're about 35.4 mil. Now I'm quite happy with that. I think it's in a perfect place for my riding, and I can always adjust on the fly by a little bit as I'm riding. So I'm going to leave it like that, but make sure when you do this that you're happy with wherever the adjuster is, or else you could have the wrong clutch point and bite point. Also, if the adjuster is too far out, this arm is going to be a lot further this way, which is going to be engaging the clutch, and that will mean your clutch will start slipping at higher RPM. Now the final couple of bits to install are going to be the dust caps. I did order the gold. I think I'm going to go for the black. I just want to clean a lot of the bikes black. I think it'll look the best out of the two options, but I can always change it in the future. Obviously everyone knows how to install these. I'm just going to show you anyway, but nice little upgrade. Obviously, please excuse the state of the wheels. They are pretty dirty. It does need a clean, but don't need to be too tight. Now for the front wheel, exact same thing. As you can see, the nice aluminum ProBolt ones look a lot nicer than the cheap plastic that comes on the bike from the factory. So it's a worthwhile upgrade, which makes small differences like this make the bike just look that little bit nicer, bit cleaner, bit more pristine. So that's the install done. We've got all 6 of the ProBolt Black bolts fitted to the fuel cap, got the ProBolt adjuster fitted, and also the ProBolt dust caps. So these are all the bits that come off the bike. As you can see, it's not a major upgrade, it's not a performance upgrade by any means, but just makes the aesthetic of the bike look a lot cleaner and a lot better. And for me, these small changes make a world of difference.